everyone, welcome back to another art school vlog. This is going to be a really quick update on the painting just because we've been working on this painting for a few videos now and I don't want it to seem so repetitive. So we're fixing what happened last week, which was I stayed too late and started making some really bad decisions. And if you missed last week, pretty much what happened was I painted this hand gray to kind of make it look dead, but it became way too complicated and it didn't match the rest of the painting. So I went in with the natural skin tone and also then touched up the hair to add some form and detail. And so far I liked it so much more than how it was before with the gray hand. I just think it didn't need it. This whole painting is super warm and glowy and just radiates when it's on the easel, and the cool hand did apply a nice contrast to that, but the focus of the painting was the abstract side with the lip and everything, and it was just way too distracting. I did have a lot of fun painting these hands though because there's so much form in it, and like I said, it glows and all the creases and then just radiated with sunlight bouncing off of it. And one of my favorite things to paint is anything with form, and these hands had so much form with it, and I really wanted to emphasize the pressure that was being put on her face, so emphasizing and exaggerating those harsh lines were really fun to do. And then I just went ahead and started working on the nail and adding all the details and the structure to it, and this was the chance to add in those cooler colors to contrast with her warm skin tone, so I added these light purples and blues, and I was really happy with how this hand turned out. This is a quick before and after, but I really needed to look at the big picture of this painting and not just the small details, so I used a previous photo and just took the saturation all the way down to -100 just to look specifically at the values, and I realized that there's no contrast in values with the skin to the background. The only contrasting part is the hair to the skin, so I wanted to darken the value of the background to make it as dark as the hair, and so that it'll contrast really nicely with each other. And this is just something that I like to do throughout the creation process, is taking a step back and going through the fundamentals such as values and just making slight adjustments so that overall my piece is a lot stronger. And you can see there that I was going in with a paper towel and stamping in some of the wet paint just to get rid of the brush strokes, just so that it seeps into the background more and pushes the background back and brings the face forward. And here I finally decided to tone down the sunlight reflection on the cheek, just because I talked about in a previous video that I'll link that I went way too ham on the sunlight details and it just didn't look good at all. So I finally painted over that just to sort of generalize the light of it. And this is where I got up to by the end of the day, and I was pretty happy with what I had done, but it wasn't really enough content for you guys just for one day. So I'm going to be making this into 2 days in the life. So I headed home and then woke up early again for the next day, where I came in and started to work on the abstract side of the face, which is a part that I had been looking forward to and been teasing for a really long time, and now we're finally getting to it. And so for this side of the face, like I said, it's going to be quite abstract and painterly. So the effect that I'm trying to make is that any point that the hand is in contact with the face, it's gonna look like that it's shattering with the paint texture in a way where like the materiality of the paint is able to shine and just be paint. I'm not trying to control it. I'm also adding the dark blue from the background into the skin to make it look like that with the shattering effect with the hand, it's sort of decaying that side of the face and her flesh is sort of being eaten in a way, is sort of the effect that I'm trying to get at. Bit morbid. I mean, as we get further on, it gets a little bit more and more gruesome. But here, once that had dried, I am layering the skin colors over the blood and background colors that I added to give that effect of it being shattered and there being cracks in the skin from the pressure of the hand. And I really wanted there to be a clear contrast from the left eye compared to the right eye, and how realistic the right eye is compared to how much I have changed the structure of the eye and added these greens to make it look really rotten, and added the orange in the whites of the eyes. I think added a really interesting focus for the viewer where they're sucked in more and more to the painting and notice quite obscure things that are happening to the body. And then I went around through the whole painting just adding these little touch-up, pushing highlights and shadows, especially in the hand area, just refining it more and more, creating more of an impact in terms of form and contrast. But there was one thing in particular that kept bugging me about this painting, and that was the lips. Because I was sort of making up how the lips were being split open, I did do a mock-up on my iPad by turning the bottom lip on a complete right angle and then adding all the blood and stuff. I used that as my reference in a way, but it just wasn't working at all. It didn't look natural. So I went in with one of my favorite and most used colors, alizarin crimson, and decided to adjust the whole structure of the lips. So I scraped off the paint off of that right angle turn the lip is doing and cropped it a lot. And what I found out was that your lip is still attached technically to like the chin area. It's not just gonna like hang off like that. No, this is really disgusting and morbid that I'm talking about this, but trying to like understand anatomy and then manipulate it to your advantage, like trying to make something very unnatural look natural, was really tricky and I've never done it before, but I was glad that I gave it a crack and I like it so much more now. I had it sort of like tilt outwards so you can see more of the inside of the lip, and it looks a lot better in my opinion. But this is where I got to at the end of the day. Next week is the final video before my crit, so we are going to be finishing off this painting and also this other painting that we worked on ages ago. So we're finally finishing two major paintings, and I'm so excited to show you guys. But stay tuned for next week, and then that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.